It is a corporate time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Sam, our producer, is here.
Hi.
Oh, I like that. It was like a little, hi, I'm right here. Hey, we're live on Twitch and YouTube right now. Twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, or YouTube, just search at Tom and Dan Live.
Spencer and Jeff are here.
Hey!
How you guys doing from the Orlando Science Center? We're going to talk some science today. I'm excited. I read a bunch of science.
Oh,
to talk to
God.
Spencer
Is that what you're
about.
doing just beforehand to
Just
like
let them-
brush up on the knowledge?
Just let them tell us about science.
Yeah, he sat down, he's like, all
right.
right. Science, news tab.
Just like picks the
What?
first article that
Science.com.
I
Dig
scanned
in.
through asteroid dust, particle physics,
Sure.
and
Oh, God.
a fifth or some sort of fifth
Gravitron.
force.
Gravitron.
Why cats
Oh
like
my
tuna?
What? What are you looking
Well,
up?
it's a fish. It's a stupid fish.
Why we think there's people around us,
Yeah.
even though there's not, and people think they
Sometimes
feel
I
ghosts.
think there's tuna around me. And
Oh,
no one
wow.
knows. Yeah, I know.
We should look into that.
Yeah,
Tom,
it's-
you just got the Nobel Prize.
All that,
I read about
all
the
that
Nobel
5
Prize.
minutes.
Yeah, a little bit of
I
Nobel
scanned
Prize.
it all. I have a
Yeah.
understanding of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I know science. I'm the best of science.
Welcome to Tom and Spencer's Science Time.
But first, we'll talk about the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Whose son? Which
there's-
one? Tommy or Max?
There's the actual sun.
Oh.
And there's an eclipse viewing party coming up at the Orlando Science Center.
Look at these.
We got our glasses. It's happening October 14th. So Spencer, tell us about this eclipse.
All right, so we've you've seen the eclipse. Do you remember the last one in 2017?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one
Where
became
everybody went outside.
politicized because they was, look, he's so stupid, he's staring at the sun. And I was like, I just did that too.
yeah. I was outside, and then I looked up for a little bit, and then I
Everyone
was like,
you
oh,
gotta
yeah.
be a real idiot to stare at the sun. I was like, oops.
Then I tried to shield my hands from like shadow my eyes, and then I just peeked behind it
Yeah,
real
yeah.
quick.
You
as
know
if
what I
could
did?
Still bright.
Yeah,
Weird.
I did
could
the
beat
pinhole camera with my hand.
Oh,
I
with
did,
your hand.
Like if you
That's
open,
not what that means.
if you opened it just a little bit,
Uh-huh.
a little bit. I learned this trick from some popular science or something when I was a little bitty kid. If your eyes are bad and you don't have your glasses, if you can make a tiny, tiny hole with your hand or with something and get it on what you need to see, it will sharpen the image.
It will.
It's
That's
always
true.
Yeah, it
That's
will.
real.
It
It
absolutely will
won't
do
not
that.
blind you when you look at the sun,
no,
but
it
what you
was-
said is real.
I was helping to extra blind myself by let's
Perfect.
sharpen this
That's
eclipse.
even better.
Yeah, let's burn my eyes out.
I like putting my hands behind my ears so I can
Yep.
hear.
Hear the sun?
Hear the
Yeah,
sound a
I'm
bit
like,
better.
this is amazing.
I put it behind my eyes so I can see
Yeah.
better.
Well, we
eclipse.
recommend solar glasses for it.
Yeah, we're
'cause that'll
really
help.
glad to be here.
Sorry,
I'm
Jeff.
sorry, Jeff.
That's the funniest thing Jeff's ever said. It's just like, I've had enough. It ends today.
Yeah,
Right.
Jeff,
we just walk out. We're done.
Jeff rips his shirt off. He's like, it stops today, you idiot.
Well,
we're
we
bringing
were-
the science.
we represent the common man, Jeff. I mean, this is who's
Jeff's
in
had
That's what we're
society.
here for.
We are
Jeff's
here
over
for
it.
you.
No.
Don't do this. in the
Help!
sun.
Help!
Yeah,
I have tears in my eyes. That's hilarious.
So you got solar glasses. Those are a great way to do it. There are other ways, but it's not this. You could use like colanders and like hold it at the like on the floor, and it'll create like shadows on the floor, which is pretty cool. You
yes.
can like look through tree branch shadows. There's all kinds of cool ways you can view and experience the sun. But there's no better way than to do it at the Science Center. Obviously, come to our viewing party because you're not going to learn all the cool stuff and get all the cool activities that we're going to offer you that actually teach about the sun, which there's plenty to do. and
Here's
talk
what you're
about.
not going to do. You're not going to give your children misinformation
Don't do that.
like I do. Like
Yeah.
Aunt Maisie will ask me things and I just tell her whatever I think, and it's not a lot of it's wrong. So don't do that. I mean, just go to the source
As a
and do-
baseline.
and do it right.
Speaking of that, how many people were killed 100,000 years ago, 50,000 years ago when they saw this and they thought that God was mad at them?
Yeah, we got to start sacrificing.
It's gotta be really wild, right? To think about like the sun just went away, right? And this one especially because you have the two different kinds of eclipses, right? The total eclipse where it blocks out the whole sun, and this one's an annular eclipse where it just blocks out like you get a ring basically.
It doesn't matter when the sun starts to look weirdo.
For sure.
I get scared. I'm
I'm
your guy. I'm your guy for even any eclipse. I look at it and I'm like, what if it doesn't come back? You know, what if they don't know? It's like, what if we only get a half? What
Right.
if we just got a half sun now?
I mean, you'd maybe be the one volunteering,
Cold,
right?
very cold.
Yeah. But it's really, I mean, the fact that there's two different kinds of it is wild too, because even if you've seen one type of eclipse, you'll see like a different kind a decade later, which is like even weirder, right? So I imagine it's got to be really hard for the first, 20,000 years of humans to figure out what was going on.
So I remember the last time there was a solar eclipse was, and this is embarrassing to admit to you, Spencer, because I feel like we're, friends,
Yeah.
science friends.
I feel
that
like
we,
the
every
bit
time we,
now-
That is what I
I feel like
So,
we get Spencer and Jeff in here, and then you and I basically tell. It's like we confess our science problems to them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think,
More of a
listening.
confessional.
Yeah. They're like, it's fine.
and then I think
Total judgment.
after Spencer and Jeff leave, they have a conversation in the car,
Yeah.
like, Tom's smarter than he lets on.
I
I saw it.
I
and
think
can
Jeff looks at
understand."
Spencer and goes, "I'm very sorry for that."
He says, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
Next
Yeah,
time.
Yeah.
But it was the first time I realized that we all see the sun differently because I remember they're like, well,
Yes.
only the people in the middle of the country can see the solar eclipse the best. And then I was like, what?
Right.
And then I'm like,
We're
well, why
the
can't
Sunshine State. We're Florida. We should see it. We're
Yeah, we get the
sunshine.
whole thing, right?
And then,
Yeah, it's our logo.
And then it was like, here's the line where you could see it the best, and it was a smaller line than I thought. I
Yeah.
thought it was like going to be the
Yeah.
whole width of
It's
a
like
state.
one subdivision.
And then it was just like a 5-mile line across the
a
United
bowling
States.
alley, a mall.
And then like everybody's meeting up in Tennessee because that's where you could see the best. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, it blew my mind that we could.
Yeah,
we all
Ross
see,
went up there and saw it.
Yeah,
remember?
that we see
Yeah.
the sun that differently.
Every hotel along that strip of the U.S. and
Yeah.
probably the world when it goes across other places, I just don't live in those countries, just gets completely booked, right? Like for years ahead of time. Like if you want to go see it in that strip, it's too late. You only have a few days.
Well, wait a minute. I
There's one in
think-
April, maybe you have a chance.
I think I could stay just outside and walk over.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
I think I could
Just
stay
walk
just
over.
outside.
If I was a
Uber-
mile
Uber me
outside-
over.
Yeah.
Uber to the eclipse.
Right. Yeah.
And if I'm like 10 miles outside the strip,
I don't need
I'm
to be
seeing
in it.
99.9% of the same thing, right?
Treat it like any
Can't be
other
that
event.
different.
It's like it gets a little too crazy in it. It's like we want to stay outside of the chaos.
We want to be eclipse adjacent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what Florida's
yeah.
been each time, right? Because we're only getting like 60% coverage here in Florida. It's like weirdly the same in 2017 now and another one in April. For us, it's all kind of the same, which is weird.
Well, this is how dumb I am too. I
God.
think that there's that much of a difference. Like I'm like, oh, New Year, maybe it's over us now. Thinking that there's gonna be some sort of a vast difference,
Yeah.
as if the Earth has changed in 4 years.
I mean, have you? There's these maps. You should look it up. Because obviously there's people smarter than all of us combined, and they've mapped out the next like millennium of like specifically where every eclipse path will be, and so like you can see the next decade of the eclipse paths we're talking about, right? And it's weird. Most of them are just like in the Pacific Ocean because it's big, and then we have like 3 over this last decade, and then the U.S. has no more after that for like 20 years or something absurd.
20.
It's just
So it's possible that you could be born and then like never see one.
well, yeah. I
Like
mean,
if
even
you
if
perished early or something, right? I mean, like that makes them a little more precious to experience,
yeah.
right? Is what I'm
Yeah.
saying in a very grim way.
Well,
I'm
Very
thinking-
grim. In
Sneaky
a
season.
horrible way, I'm saying how
if
rare
you're
these
born
are.
in like May next year, you basically have no shot. You'd have to live to like 30. I
Well,
mean,
Right, exactly.
I think
Who's going to do that?
It's more possible that us and a lot of our listeners won't see the next one.
Right. Well,
Bad
I didn't
living.
want to bring that up. Yeah.
20 years is a while. So the eclipse party, I mean, how big is the party? Is there drinks?
Just get to what you
Actually,
want.
a whole
That's the
lot
only
of
reason I go to
water,
parties.
There's some juice.
All right.
Yeah. No, we have all kinds of really awesome stuff. There's new shows happening that are debuting that day. We have a show that talks just about the eclipse, what an eclipse is and how it differs from lunar eclipses and stuff. We've got different activities all throughout the building.
Nice.
And then, of course, we're going to offer, the solar glasses that you have here with the ticket so that you can see the sun
Safely.
with us.
Yeah,
safely.
awesome.
Yeah,
You know?
and as much as you want. When you got those, it's like, well, go for it. It's like you're not having to do all of our
Exactly.
stupid
Yeah,
tricks.
yeah. And we can show you all the other cool stupid tricks, but the safe stupid tricks.
I love me some science tricks, man. Like I'm all about elephant toothpaste. That is where it's
That's
at.
the one. That'll get you.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Body built on it.
Let's talk about Science Night Dead coming up October 21st.
Couple people in the chat room asking. They are members. Hey, can I go to that? Yeah, you absolutely can go to that. You're already a member, so you're good to go.
And it's a Halloween themed Science Night Live, correct,
Mhm.
Spencer?
Yeah, for sure. For both of these, because they're going to be popular, you're going to want to look on ahead of time. For the Eclipse, you have to literally do it ahead of time. You have to purchase the ticket online. For SNLs, though, they do often book up, so make sure you're getting those tickets. But this one's really cool because it's Science Night Dead. We have Science Night Lives like 5 times a year. This one in October happens every year. We theme it around obviously Halloween, and we have all kinds of really cool spooky stuff, right? So it's like like a cheaper, tamer version of Halloween Horror Nights. But
That's what I want.
Right.
Because I'm too
science.
scared
So
to go
it's
to
science.
Halloween.
Yeah, it's not your vibe. You go
Yeah.
there, you chill out, have a couple of drinks, hang out,
Exactly.
date night, learn something.
You know what I've always disliked? The science
Yes.
of zombies in movies. Because I was like, all right, okay.
I don't know
and
how
so-
they're still walking around. I just
Well,
blew their brains out.
No, but if I get past that part, I'm like, all right, somehow the disease,
Yup.
even though they're dead, it's taking over their brain and firing
Oh, so
their
you're
brain
going with the
to
Last
make,
of Us style.
well, yeah, to make their muscles move, because that's all your
Yeah.
muscles are.
You're
like,
just a host. It's living
yeah,
off of you.
yeah, like electronic, pulses to your muscles and whatever. I'll get beyond that, but then the fact that they're somehow stronger than they were before.
Yeah, I know.
Even
Yeah.
though their muscles
That's why
have
I'm looking forward to being a
deteriorated.
zombie
You're like-
because I'm so weak right now. Such a
Yeah.
weak little
It's
man.
going to be great.
I'll be a strong little man.
Their jaw is, you could see through it, like their muscles have deteriorated, therefore they would be weaker.
Right.
So you should be able to easily push them down and just punch their head off.
Unless they argue. I mean,
Why are they
shouldn't-
so fast?
You would think that somebody would put in the backstory that there is a chemical reaction within their body that strengthens their
Yeah.
bones and ligaments into
Yeah.
a substance that's a lot more durable
When it's like-
and carries more energy than muscles even, right?
Yeah. Or-
But then you'd have
yeah.
to read that to even know.
Yeah, Dan,
Right.
you are now a consultant. On the
No, I'm
next
just saying they
zombie
Look at
never
that.
explain anything because they
Yes.
never have time to
Or-
explain it, right? They just
It's-
do the
yeah,
thing, and I'm like, well, that's dumb.
or just-
Sometimes you just gotta let art flow.
I know, I know.
Or just have a scientist be like, this disease also causes an extreme adrenaline production in the brain that
It's just one
that dumps
character.
it out.
Yeah, but if you're
One
gonna-
extra line.
Yeah, it's
That's
one
correct.
character that falls
Yeah.
over and he's like, oh my God, their bones are calcifying into this extra strong energy bones.
And then they die, and then it's fine. They just got their line out. It was worth it.
Yeah.
Right, but the thing is, after a couple of years, they're going to be especially problematic, right? Because where's that energy coming from? You want to add the science in. It's just like they got to continue to eat, but all the humans are gone. So like, where's the energy? There's no way.
Yeah.
It's all,
there-
you got to go all magic or nothing. It's got to be like
Yeah.
magic zombies, or there's no shot.
I checked out of Walking Dead, but do they have a scenario of
Oh, he's in Paris now.
that? I know Daryl's in Paris.
Which is
I know they eat in their
hilarious.
croissants. I know. Yeah, we handled this. Yeah, he brought the crossbow. We. I get it. But like, did they handle that? There's no more. Like, do the zombies are like die?
they're
and
zombies.
then-
Oh, they're
no, but
there.
do they die?
Yeah, do they die eventually?
Yeah,
I
do
don't
they
know.
eventually
They live
die out and then
forever.
there's okay.
Never watched one episode of that show.
Oh, that's
Never
that
won.
is so
Even
awesome.
The first one
It's
where-
kind of weird. So not ever seen one.
No.
Thank you
no
for
interest.
your service. That's like
Yeah, right?
amazing dedication.
No
man.
interest.
Good God. You've never told us that.
No.
Even when Rick is riding his horse into Atlanta
Yeah.
and there's somehow no cars whatsoever
None.
going in the opposite lane.
But there's a
Don't
tank.
care.
There's a tank.
Everybody respected the laws, and they're like, I can't drive in the opposite lane out of here to save my life.
Chat room is checking, and
All
Christine
empty.
says they starve. Yes,
Oh,
they do.
okay.
They
starve.
do starve. Okay.
Okay, that's
That's
good
why
to
you gotta
know.
go to Paris.
See,
Okay.
Walking Dead real. That's just factual then. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, since the zombies have all
docu-series.
starved, I'm going to Paris to get me
Exactly.
some croquettes.
All right, let's get into science.
All right,
Spencer.
enough warm up. Enough
Enough
of this.
zombies.
Enough of
Actually,
plugging
before
and
that-
having fun.
Hold on.
Before that, I want to talk about Backyard Adventures,
Yo,
new exhibit
yeah,
at
man.
the Science Center, and it's all about the science that's in your own backyard. Great for kids because there's so much science happening.
This exhibit should
all
just be
around
called
us.
Daniel, the only child.
Yeah.
I mean, because this is what I did,
Yeah,
man.
right?
Yeah, just exploring, because we had a
Go outside.
we had
All
a
right.
big yard and we had a pool, and most of my childhood was spent in that yard
Right.
alone, just digging
Yeah.
ants.
Well, here's what I want
bugs,
to talk to you about,
bees.
Spencer. It's been my dream to grow a giant pumpkin since
my
I was a kid.
God.
How-
Because
okay.
He's never said that.
No, he's not.
Not even one time.
I tried to grow
Not even. That is
pumpkin.
such a lie.
I mean,
It
could be
even
a
says
deep,
it in
dark
sheet right there.
dream.
Lie about
Yeah,
giant
lie.
pumpkin.
Right.
I
Oh,
tried
you
to grow.
stumped him.
I tried to grow a pumpkin before, with my garden tower.
You did do this.
and it started with watermelons, and it grew little tiny watermelons.
Yeah. He was the king of the miniature watermelons.
Aw.
Yeah.
Castleberry watermelon
But
king.
Why didn't it get a baby watermelon?
No, well, because
they
they
didn't
ended up
last very
dying
long,
because I
yeah.
couldn't get the pH of the
He's
water.
just giving me angel trumpets.
And then it was too much work, really. And then I forgot about it for a minute, or I ran back.
Didn't
and
it
the
take
pH was
over
off.
Didn't the pumpkin take over your entire
My,
garden?
my nutrients weren't perfect, and that's where I
Wow,
screwed up
we've
with
known that.
hydroponics. And but essentially, if you just give the plant enough nutrients and the pumpkin enough nutrients, then it should just continue to grow. And if you basically give it steroids,
I
which
thought
is
I had to flower
overabundance.
them so they would fruit because you told me you had me with Maisie. My daughter was growing a pumpkin. I had a Q-tip out there and I was putting it on the thing and putting it on the other thing and touching all the flowers.
They
to
pollinate it.
Wow.
That's how I grew the little one. But then to give, then I was like, how do you get them big, right? And I know there's different species that grow bigger than others. I think they all have a limit. But if you just keep feeding them, they will grow up until a certain point. But that's how you get those gigantic,
Those mega ones?
like the ones you
mega
live
pumpkins.
inside. Yeah.
What's the biggest one they've made? Is there one bigger than me?
Oh yeah,
There's
dude,
gotta be.
Dude, there's an 800-pound pumpkin.
Can we buy one?
Let's
Let's buy a pumpkin and then
Okay.
we'll cut it out and I'll live in it for a week as a stunt.
So Spencer, my question being is, are those giant pumpkins all grown hydroponically?
There's no way, right? Are you trying to? So you're saying you're still growing your pumpkins with hydroponics?
Well, I tried it, and
Well, I guess that you were.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
The
didn't wanna
roots are in the water with the food. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah,
doesn't matter,
Yeah.
But I couldn't understand how they grow those giant pumpkins not hydroponically, because how
What do you
are
mean in the ground?
yeah
Traditional style.
yeah. Standard. I call it standard.
The standard way, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
There
yeah.
are people that only will, like, that's the only, we've talked about this before. There are some people that don't like anything that's considered hydroponic
Right.
because at that point it's become like it's not blessed or something. Like,
It's not from the earth.
Exactly. I'm trying to
it's
be
not like
delicate here
natural.
because
Yeah.
there are people
Natural.
I mean, like, but then you go over to
The
like
pumpkin.
Disney, right, and you see their hydroponic facility, which is still very small comparatively,
Right.
and then you also see them grow their pumpkins inside a Mickey Mouse shaped box. So when it grows and then they take the box off, it's shaped like Mickey Mouse, and I'm like, now that's science.
engineering.
That's
straight
a
up.
GD
Yeah.
pumpkin. That's a pumpkin,
Yeah.
man.
That's
you
the
had that-
culmination of everything,
Like
really.
that is like they took hydroponics at Disney World and then they put a beautiful pumpkin inside a handcrafted wooden Mickey Mouse head, and then when it grew a Mickey Mouse head, and I'm like, that's magic.
Yeah,
That's
it's magic.
amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Because I've always struggled with hydroponics myself, right? To get them especially big and especially things you'd eat out of a hydroponics, I've always struggled with because you got to get like those really hard stems. I maybe try that like dirt stuff. Do you have any of that?
Yeah, I
He
mean,
does. He does.
it's
Yes,
all
get
rotten
'em,
under
Spencer.
Castleberry.
A little more of a pleasure palace. He's got the pool and
Castleberry
everywhere.
sand.
Well, your dirt
I-
area, you don't have a big like garden area because that would ruin your nice backyard.
I get a lot of mushroom growth all throughout my yard and everything.
I
I get
know
a
why.
lot of
Yeah.
spores.
Those
like
are fun.
But it attacks all my plants,
Yeah.
and I constantly have rust.
Rust?
It's a.
Well, his house is is rusting apart.
It's basically fungus for plants, and there's like an abundance of mushroom spores just flying around Castleberry,
Hey.
Oh my
ruining
God,
everything.
the Castleberry-
Fungus everywhere.
This is exactly why we have the exhibit, right? Because for places where you have just pools and fungi, you can come to the science center and experience inside, you know, because it does. It's kind of got that vibe that you're talking about, like you're in the neighborhood. Because I grew up the same way, and there's just like sheds and power tools and gardening and like anything you would find outside. It like authentically feels like you're kind of outside. It's kind of weird but cool. There's mini golf. It's neat.
Ride
It was-
a giant bee.
Right? Yeah, just like normal outside
Yeah.
shenanigans,
Play some
riding giant
putt-putt.
bees.
Oh,
Yeah.
These are that was my favorite time of being a young boy, was like out afternoons in the summer, nothing to do, exploring the backyard, power tools, insects, sunshine,
Yep.
Sunny D, you'd run in.
Oh, my
grab
sons
some.
don't do that. It's all Roblox.
know.
The
It's
It's real
screen is
different
the
now,
internet.
know.
right?
Maybe
So maybe this is
doesn't-
like a museum piece. Like this is how they used to live, you know?
It was
Yeah.
the best though, man, and that's how you learn stuff,
Right.
because you'd get bit by stuff and you touch that stuff and dig and get
Yeah.
your hands
Yeah.
dirty.
And also, like, I want to tell my sons to go outside and explore nature, but I've seen the future. It's Matrix, and
Yeah.
there is going to be no more bees.
Yeah, and have you been
And
over-
I'm like, learn the internet. You'll be
Yeah,
living in it.
Have Have you been on video games lately? My God, they're good.
That's what you have to learn.
Yeah.
You know, the world's going to be no more bees, and the internet kids are going to survive.
Have you dabbled in Starfield yet? I figured you might.
No, I'm on the other one, the Baldur's Gate one. So
Okay.
I do dabble in the fantasy too, right?
Yeah.
So I can't just
You like
go side-
fantasy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know it's got to be.
Now he hates you.
How do you like fantasy, Spencer?
Sorry, I was just kidding.
Yeah.
It was a really good joke though.
You know,
How do you like
some
fantasy
people
and
have
science?
complex personalities, and
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
you
just
can
don't-
be two things.
He can
It's
juggle
weird.
both. Here's something you'll find fascinating
He's blew his mind.
about Starfield that I thought was really cool. When you load up Starfield, almost every single time you load it up, it'll give you a big and I think they're really proud of this. It'll give you like a big explanation of how all the maps of the true planets that are real in
yeah.
Starfield are from NASA, and it's the real stuff.
It looks real authentic, and like the
It
vibes
is.
are cool. And the thing I appreciate about Starfield is they didn't go weird with their sci-fi, right? They made it kind of like NASA-y, right? Like
It's
it looks
very-
kind of
it's
like
all NASA.
real NASA,
Yeah.
like what NASA would evolve into in a few hundred years,
Yeah.
instead of having to like weird moon alien tech that we
No,
normally get in sci-fi.
It's pretty normal stuff, and then but all the maps that you use, all the surface area maps of the planets, like when you use the detail and you go in the places that you take your ship to land, that's all real maps. So you're like, it's a blend of fantasy and reality. I thought you'd appreciate that, the fact that they are using like actual science to create this game to make it even more powerful for the viewer or user. So I think it's pretty rad.
Maps of planets?
Yeah,
All
like
right.
real, like the actual science that they've collected. They're like, well, if we're gonna build these planets, we might as well make them real.
We've got like a 2D map of the entire surface of all of our rocky planets. We have satellites around all of them, so we've got detailed mapping of like every small rock on the surface, right? So you can use that telemetry data to then kind of like spread that across the thousands or whatever planets they have, so it's based on that real science.
And they also use science of the gravity on each planet. Each planet has its own, level of gravity or how much you can carry. So if you go into if you're on a planet that happens to have a mineral that you really need, but there's a ton of gravity, you're not going to be able to carry a lot of stuff out of there. So you have to use science in order to figure out how you're going to even carry all that stuff back to your ship. It's pretty cool. It's a nerd game for sure, 100%.
It's like Backyard Adventures, but like in space. It's like really backyard,
Uh,
like really, really
if
outside.
I'm just being honest, I prefer Backyard Adventures.
Well-
It's just easier for me. You know?
Yeah.
A couple things. Speaking of backyard adventures, you also have in the exhibit bee vision, so you could see what a bee sees,
Yeah.
right? And essentially, I guess,
But
how does that work?
That's great, but we're not going to be able to comprehend it like a bee, right? So it's probably going to make us trip out. I would
Well,
imagine.
I would love if we get to like that neural net stuff where we can start to actually see that color, right? Because we're just simulating being able to see UV basically, right? As like purple, because that's the closest we can do as humans. But we've had to have talked about this at some point because it's so cool. Like, what does UV actually look like to a bee? It's another color. Like, what does that mean to a brain? It's so hard to think about.
Yeah.
So we don't have that tech yet. If you're looking for that, or can I lie?
I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay, yeah, no, we don't have that tech.
I'm
would-
sorry,
We do not have
Spencer.
that
That's
tech.
reserved for the
Sorry.
You can
professionals.
hypothesize.
Okay, we might have that tech.
All right. Now, nobody would know if you did lie, Spencer, because we
Yeah.
can't comprehend a
Yeah.
lot.
Right,
of
right,
it.
right,
I'll
right.
just be like, okay.
But it brings me to a larger topic, which because like when you see what a bee sees, first you're seeing it through your human eyes,
To
so
be
you
or
can't
not
even
to be.
Right,
comprehend
right,
or
right.
whatever.
What is the question?
But it kind of relates to an article I read about why cats like tuna. All right.
Yes, I knew you weren't going to let this
Wow,
one.
it really
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
back
yeah,
around.
yeah.
I knew you
All
were going to
right.
circle
and,
back.
and this will end with me yelling at my wife. All right, follow me here.
Okay, Jeff, you might want to leave for this one.
So I guess I scanned through the article, so this was kind of. But cats apparently can't even taste sugar at all. Like they have no taste
Oh, my
buds to
God.
taste sugar, right?
And I've been telling my cats to come over and give me sugar for years.
Whoa.
And they've evolved because in the natural or how they evolved, they never were exposed to anything that had sugar in it.
my
It
God.
only they only were eating meat.
Somebody
in
give
the
these
wild.
cats a Jolly Rancher.
And so therefore, meat doesn't have any sugar, and therefore they just evolved out of being able to even taste sugar.
Yeah.
So they have no even idea what it.
You know, I call my love
nothing.
handles my sugar meat, though. I do say
Ooh.
that, and then I have my wife squeeze them.
And then, so
weird.
then the broader point being is there's so many animals around us, including our own domestic animals like dogs and
like Dansby Dennis,
and that are perceiving reality totally different than we
Right.
perceive it.
Yeah.
But we love to.
I project my version of reality into Dansby, and I force him in my own mind to live that, but he's not living that.
They're not even tasting the same as us. They're
No.
not seeing the same. They're not thinking the same. So we need to quit as human beings thinking that animals have
So you
anything
want to ruin
close.
animals for people?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
just ruin them. Yeah.
their reality
Don't
is so
enjoy
big.
them. They don't enjoy you.
We can't even comprehend what their reality is.
No.
Crusher of dreams.
Yeah. When is the
is that right,
when is the
Spencer?
Crushing Your Dreams exhibit over there? When is that
Oh, I'll go there.
Tom Vance,
Yeah.
I'll
Dream
stand there.
Just stand there in an
Our
empty
guest
room.
presenter.
The irony is that he's standing at the. You get up to the door, about to walk in, and Tom's like, "Don't even go in.
Yeah, right.
You won't even understand.
You won't even get
Yeah,
it.
right.
Spencer's in
I
there.
I don't
You're
even
too dumb to
understand.
know."
Yeah. But I know I don't even understand. So
That's interesting.
So is that right, Spencer? We all other life forms are experiencing reality different than us.
I think it's really cool to hear, pet owners, because they have they're so sure they know what their pet is thinking, but every pet owner is so sure in a different way, and so none of them can be right, or not all of them can be right. So it's just very
emotional.
strange.
Right,
Literally,
it
just
is.
you look at the collective, and it's just logically it's wrong. Let alone looking at the neurons of science behind it, right? So yeah, definitely we have no idea what they're thinking, which is I think more exciting for animals. That's what makes them even better, right? If they're just thinking like humans, that's super boring. I have plenty of humans. I don't need more of them, right? I want to try and look
Yeah.
at a cat and be like, what is going on in there, and really try and think about it, because that's way more interesting. Then
I think I
it
could
shares
get my
a
dog,
sugar
though, 'cause
like.
he's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
I think even without and I do project so much emotion onto Dansby. I'm like, oh, look at him, he loves me. So, oh, give me the kisses. They're not even
Right.
kisses. I don't know. He's just checking for crumbs on my beard. I don't know.
Yeah,
Doesn't
you're
matter.
salty and he
Doesn't
likes
matter.
your-
I'm getting something out of it. But then
Right.
sometimes I look at him and I go, I know exactly what you're thinking, but you're so stupid. Look how stupid you
Well,
are.
it's not that they're just surviving.
Yeah.
Right, they're just
yeah.
kind of chilling. There's nothing
Which
going-
is really a better way to live. It's just like, hey, gotta survive. That's
Right.
all I got on my to-do list. Survive. Boom.
So Spencer, I saw the story last week and I thought of you immediately. I was like, I can't wait to talk to my friend Spencer about
Oh,
this
friend.
Best
because
friend. You
he
called him
must
best friend last week.
he must be excited like I am about how this even happened.
Is this
So-
where you pretend to imaginary high five him and you're like, oh, he's not here?
So they collected some dust and rocks
Oh,
from
yes.
an asteroid.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what Butler got for the Titanic.
And
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
so, and when you read about, I was like, well, how this even happen? How they managed to launch some rocket and then some sort of probe,
Bruce Willis.
and then it was like
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
deep
yeah.
impact.
But he got
Just
up
saying.
there and he forgot to bring the dust down.
And-
Oh, too soon.
Oh, no.
You can't say that.
Well, first you have to trick your son-in-law. He thinks he's gonna die, and then you shove him back in the thing, and you're like, "I'm dying
Yeah,
today.
I'm doing it."
And then the son-in-law's mad. I'd be happy.
then-
I'd be like, "All right, well, die, old man. I gotta go back and date your
you
daughter."
die. You do it.
Yeah. Like, what, you're
I
banging
got a
on the
lot of
glass.
life.
You want to die?
I got a lot of life to live.
Yeah.
That's why we send robots, because we didn't need to send either of those people. Robots can do it.
Correct.
You know?
Also, you don't have to close your eyes, Bruce, right before you hit the plunger and evaporate.
I think I would, though. I think I would, though.
I would like to see that.
No, I don't think I can hold my eyes open. It's like when you go on the Hulk coaster. I try to keep my eyes open, but it blows my eyes shut.
It'll be an instant. You want
Yeah.
to just smile, leave your eyes
Or
open.
maybe
Yeah.
he was doing it.
I don't know.
Maybe he was doing it for the song. I don't want to close my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
I don't want to fall asleep because I love you, Spencer. Sorry. I'll cut that out.
Yeah, please.
So anyway, back to asteroid dust. So we were able to fly a probe to this asteroid and collect the dust, and everybody, all the scientific community, were super excited about it. Although what I didn't understand is they got the capsule back. It landed in Texas somewhere.
They always land in Texas.
They got the capsule back. They put it in some sort of box, like you see
They
Homer
put it in
with
the
the
blue
gloves.
tent. They put it in the blue tent like an NFL player.
No. It's like back at a facility, and now scientists are working on opening the capsule to get inside.
You got to
the
be
internal-
careful though, because then like a foreign being will jump inside your brain, and that's how you get the astronaut's wife or whatever that movie, right?
Yeah,
Like,
don't these guys watch movies?
those
I mean,
things
come
like
on.
that does scare me. Like you go in there, you're cleaning it, you're just like cleaning around the capsule. All of a sudden, something. Oh man, that's terrifying.
So what I didn't understand, and maybe you can explain to me further, Spencer, is like in the article I read, they're like everybody's excited. They're like, all right, we just have to open up the center collection area in the
where
capsule
the dust is at.
where the dust is, and we're super excited. That'll take about a week, and I'm like, a week? I'm like, just get it. I mean, how excited are you?
It's like an archaeology dig, but it's like
Aren't there-
future. It's like they gotta be. I think everything is like like mega delicate.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Because you're killing a lot of the things you brought back, but you destroy it, right? I think you do.
Yeah. Well, that's the point, right? It's got to be so sterile when you do this space stuff because the whole point is
Tom's
really
sterile.
Well, then just send them in. I don't know what the issue is. You've got to be so careful because the whole point is to see if there's alien life, right? So, like, we want to. I mean, there's other points, like formation of the solar system or whatever. But like, we want to know is there like evidence of weird bacteria or something? Like, this is the same thing is true for satellites we send to Saturn and other distant moons. We want to know if there's life there. So we got to be so careful. It takes so long. You watch them in like the hazmat suits just to do anything, right?
Yeah.
To like unlock a key and then they like run away and they scurry because you got to be so careful.
It's because if they find something that they didn't expect, like their
You
first thought,
you gotta be sure that it's aliens.
It's like there's guacamole in here.
Exactly.
Like what can it be?
They're like, Bill, did you spill your Chipotle?
Or like somebody's like you're opening a door and you're like, oh, there's a rubber duck in here from a Jeep drove by. Get
Yep.
a rubber duck.
Yep.
Well, but then it goes to show you like there's contamination because if they did find something they didn't expect, all the other scientists would be like, you contaminated it,
Right.
And then it would take how many years?
There's Tijuana Flats in there.
No.
I know it's you.
But even some molecule they didn't expect, they got to make sure it's not from Earth. And
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah, it does go way beyond life, of course, because there's all kinds of rock science that really is important to these. And you just even like our air affecting like oxygenating certain molecules, right, will change the way the molecule is, and so we just don't want to rust the iron that might be in the dust, and things like that.
It's another thing that they kind of got, not to bring it back to that, but they kind of got it right in Starfield. It's like when you're going places and you're going in and out of like places that are space and not space, it's not easy. Like there is a process to like they're going in to maneuver, manipulate something that came from space that's precious, right? Just the decontamination of them getting on their suit, going into another room, being cleaned before you get
the dust is such a
it might be an hour before you even get in because you got to be clean.
Yeah, and that's real for astronauts. Like, I mean, we haven't been to the moon in like 50 years. Hopefully, we'll go back soon. But that was such a real problem. Was dust specifically that more than they even visualized, right? Because like it's sharp. You breathe it in, it serrates your lungs and all that stuff. So like. And it's cool because here in Orlando, UCF has like a big dust studying division of their planetary sciences. Like they really are into dust, which I thought was kind of lame at first because you're like, oh, cool, dust people. But then you like really think about it and look into it and talk to them.
Can't nerd shame, Spencer.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
That's why we love Spencer though, because he's real.
But then I actually learned about it and I'm like, oh no, like this actually is critically so important and on the breaking edge stuff. So like it's real and like this dust is actually so weirdly important, even though it's not, huge boulders or whatever.
Yeah, that's my greatest allergy when I was tested.
Just dust in general.
Seriously.
Asteroid dust.
I don't even know what that means. I was like, oh, does that mean everything? I'm
yeah,
allergic to
basically,
everything.
just small stuff.
Yeah, tiny things.
Okay.
I'm allergic to everything.
Spencer, let's real talk for a second.
Sure.
No.
Here we go.
So as I'm reading these stories earlier,
it was the cat tuna one that really got me.
Well, that's the one that caught my eye because then
I can't taste sugar, Tom.
I was reading a story about the fifth force of nature that they think they found and how muons work and
Mulan.
and in a particle accelerator and stuff. And I'm trying to even grasp it, even what they wrote this article. I'm guessing for kids to read, I can't even understand it, right? And
Nat G for kids.
Yeah. And so this led me to a broader topic, which is it's inevitable to me that computers or some sort of robots and computers will rule the earth.
Okay.
And that will be the next generation
I think you have
of
a
humans.
broad term of robot too. Like everything's a robot.
Well, it's just because I started thinking, I was like, all right, well, it's going to take a while before if they do find, because they were talking about how there's this dark matter in our universe that scientists can't explain through the standard theory of physics that we know now.
Okay.
And they're thinking they're trying to figure it out through these particle accelerators, and these muons are acting differently. And so they're trying to figure out what this other force of nature is that we don't understand.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, well, now if they do find this, now physics as we know it has changed, right? And there's no way anybody can understand this except for a small amount of humans. And then by then, I feel like, far enough in the future, like supercomputers will only be able to understand all of this.
So,
right?
So you're thinking that the top level intellectuals will be machines?
How can it not be?
Because we're so dependent upon them that we are relinquishing
Or
our own knowledge.
even if they're not full machines, those who interact their brain in some way to like, it sounds science fiction now, but some neural netty stuff, right? Where you just like enhance your cognitive function in some way. You make you think faster.
Starfield, not to go back to Starfield, when you put the neuro implants in your brain, and what did it give me, right? Because I'm a businessman. I know you hate that I'm a businessman in Starfield. Yeah. I'm a businessman in Starfield, and I do a lot of negotiating. So the chips, the neuro chips I put in my brain, give me plus 15% negotiation, so I can get cheaper
You're just
stuff.
like a little wittier.
Yeah, I'm like, and I can do it to people without them knowing I do it, and that's the danger part that they kind of talk about in the game is that you should be able to know that people are using neurolinks on you while you're using them, because that's immoral.
Oh gosh,
and the
pretty good, right? It's good. It's pretty good science fiction.
I might have to swap from boulders at some point.
Pretty good, man.
But also the difference between the scientists studying this, all this, and their understanding of it and how smart they are, and let's say the people that are walking around the Castleberry Walmart that I go to,
just Jerry,
including myself.
Jerry,
I'm there.
A lot of dust there.
Me and everybody else, and I'm like, well, their comprehension of this, like the spectrum is so vast, and then once we get the Neuralink, and then you got a supercomputer working in your brain, or just what the supercomputer can understand.
Right.
Like we're now talking about.
You know what you guys are? Like when the Great War happens, you'll be A1 laser stoppers. A1 laser stoppers is what they call them.
We're now talking about such a vast difference in understanding of even science and then physics.
Every time you say vast difference, I think you're saying vast difference.
Same.
And I think you're talking, and I can feel it every time you say it.
By the way, I don't even I can't even begin to comprehend any of this, and so.
But you know what? I give you credit for trying.
Well, this is also, this is defined, right? The word is the singularity when it comes to AI stuff, right?
Yeah.
Singularity with black holes, whole separate thing. But the point is that, like, once theoretically this supercomputer is able to, figure out physics, or maybe have the consciousness to figure out the physics or something, it's going to happen so fast that, like, we humans won't be able to do anything about it. Like, it'll find that fifth or sixth force, know how that relates to some other factor, and be able to build some comprehensive, idea and system to do everything, right? And it'll do that in a fraction of a second, theoretically. And that's why the singularity as a concept is scary to some people. Because that
makes sense.
Can it explain it to us?
That would be
no, but explaining it is one thing, comprehending it is another, right? Because it's two parts.
Well, we don't need to comprehend it to benefit from it theoretically, right? Because there is a reality that quantum physics is I think that quantum physics is probably so complicated that we will never fully understand it. Really, it's just it's too much. But we can still use quantum physics. We can still make quantum computers. Maybe we can make teleporters someday or something with it. So the supercomputer is still worth chasing, because maybe they can figure out all that physics stuff, and hopefully they'll just be able to help us.
I mean, it's almost like a variation of what we're doing now. The
us.
tech that we use now, I would say 99.9% of people have no understanding of what goes into.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this with Matthew, who made our app. He's such a wonderful guy, but I don't know if he can explain what he does to us and us go like, oh yeah,
right.
I don't know.
Well, then does a super intelligence or supercomputer become human's new god follow me here? Because then
of some sort.
We just have to use faith to because hey, the supercomputer knows, it has to know it. It understands.
There's a variation of that now with our devices, right? We
I
depend
can't
on
even
them.
understand what the supercomputer knows, so I have faith that it knows.
Yeah.
And then therefore it's some new religion
I think this
of
is
a
happening
supercomputer.
now. I think this is happening now.
This is a big part of that sci-fi story Foundation. If you have seen that one,
Okay.
if you want to look into more of that, you want to play Starfield and watch Foundation at the same
He
time.
doesn't like sci-fi. Remember? He's just telling us all about it right now.
Yeah. Very heavy sci-fi, but it's
Yeah.
really cool. It's got all that stuff where like kind of like the computer becomes the god because like that's what it is, right? At that point, literally,
Sure.
like there is no more powerful entity thing in the
Maybe,
universe. So like,
yeah,
what,
I could even make an argument we're even more dependent upon it than a god because it's doing real things, not just giving me a feeling, right? If it's actually executing things out there, if it's a supercomputer, I'm saying.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right.
I mean, like if it's really tangible, I'm not saying God isn't.
Right,
you
right.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm trying to do it without being disrespectful.
Without being-
But,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you could even make an argument that it's more powerful than a God because it's real, and I can prove it's real. Not saying God isn't real, but it's
right, it'll do physical things that we'll see for
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, this is.
I
still
like it when you come in.
It's still so far away. The concept of the singularity might not even be real, right? It might be more of a gradual transition into just stronger and stronger computing. And it's we don't know if a supercomputer could like think for itself or have like consciousness. It's more than likely it's still just going to remain software, and it's just going to be some jerk human who uses it in a bad way. It's not that the AI is going to become sentient. It's that it's going to be way too strong, and people are bad sometimes, and they'll have easy strong technology.
I do like when you release super complicated, impressive technology to society, and all we could do is paint Donatello working as a tax consultant, and they were like, "Look at this,"
and that's it.
Yeah,
It's that and the
it's like-
pumpkin Mickey are like the two
Yeah.
culminations of science
It's
so
for,
far.
like for instance, I have a Midjourney account, and I spent the money using the company because we use it around here to do
Yeah.
stuff. And the first thing I do, I'm like, I wonder if I can make
Yeah.
Big Bird like eating a hot dog.
Look, it painted
and then he'll paint Big Bird eating a hot dog.
Yeah.
And we're worried
With
about
Kid
AI, like supercomputers. Like it's clearly humans we have to worry about.
Yeah, no, I
Oh,
know.
the amount of things I've
Well,
typed into
that's-
Midjourney that are horrible.
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
god! And I know how to get around the sensors now. I figured out how to do it.
I do like that part of it, though, when we're super scared of AI, because that means we know how dumb we are, and we know that computers will immediately want to kill us.
Like, I feel like-
that makes me happy.
I feel like the computer isn't going to kill me if I send it a picture of you and then say, hashtag, or I go / imagine Tom as a poop monster. Like, I feel like when I do something funny, that the AI overlord will be like, no, he is one of the funny ones.
He's one of the
He's
funny
a
ones,
jester.
yeah.
Let him be.
All right, back to business. Here we go.
Here we go.
Solar Eclipse Viewing Party,
Yeah, man.
October 14th. Backyard Adventures, a new exhibit going on right now at the
Yep.
Orlando Science Center.
Science Night Dead. You
Yeah.
got that to go to.
October 21st, and the observatory tours
Yes, they're
are back, and they're not going to happen until November, but book now.
Book
because
early, yeah.
They've sold out quick, and if you call, you get $25 off.
Yeah.
If you're
that.
a Tom and Dan fan, you when you book, say Tom and Dan sent me, get $25 off.
That's a lot of money off, y'all.
Hey.
That's
cool.
like,
I-
wow.
I mean,
Well
get
a
done.
group
Thank
together
you.
and go.
Yeah,
It's fun.
it's awesome.
When
Yeah, they are.
When you look at a different planet you've never seen before, you're looking at Neptune, or who knows that, like it blows your freaking mind. I thought that I'm like, there's a picture at the end of this. Like, this can't
No.
be an actual other planet.
I
I'm
can
looking
tie
at.
this into
Crazy.
Starfield one more time.
One more
when,
time.
When you're flying in Starfield.
Are they paying you?
No,
Yeah,
no,
right.
no. I like the
It
game.
should be.
You know, I like it because it's not overly violent or gory, and my daughter can watch it, and it's got like science overtones. So I'm
You're just
totally
doing
okay.
like evil businessman stuff, so it's not as obvious.
That's absolutely true. Didn't think about that, Spencer. But like, no, in this game, like when you're flying, what they're trying to do, they're trying to give you that aha moment when you take off. So then, every time you take off in the game, your plane will, or your ship will fly up into space, and then it will give this grand reveal of a planet, right?
Ah.
And it tries to do it with music and with the depth and the way that they drew the planet, and you'll see your ship kind of settle, and then all the systems settle, and it's like, and then you'll undoubtedly have a character in the game go, look at that view,
Right.
like, and they say something
Yeah.
like that.
Ah.
They're trying to get what you will get from the telescope at the Science Center. That feeling that you and I had that I cannot explain of when you look at it, and I'm like, and then I like looked around and looked
Right,
at everybody
right,
else,
right.
and I'm like,
Seeing
really?
another planet.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
seeing. It's giving me goosebumps right now. Like you're seeing it, and you can see the depth, and then you look around and you're kind of questioning it.
I've
They're
mentioned this
trying to fabricate that, but they can't.
Right,
They
I've
can't
mentioned
do
it before that like I'm a science educator nerd more than anything,
Yeah.
right? And the great part about my job is there's so many awesome ways to teach science and to give a love and passion for science, and video games is a huge way to do that. And it's cool that they can like still give you that same sensation that like a telescope can give you, right? But it's important to seek all those different ones. Like if you're not playing Starfield, I do recommend you play because it's going to give you a different view on life, probably from what it sounds like. But you got to see things through telescopes too. Like you got to really make that intent to do this kind of stuff, right? Because it's you don't get it all the time. Like the Eclipse, it's like you said, you might not have another shot, right? So you got to see the Eclipse. You can see it anywhere, but you're going to see it better with us, right?
Yeah.
And if you have a $1 million telescope, then great, use that. But if you don't have one, just come see us.
It's right there.
We got it for you.
Backyard.
And we got really good skies this winter. We got some cool stuff to look at, so it's a good time for it.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, Spencer, Jeff, thanks
always
so
a
much
pleasure
for coming
seeing
by.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're not a member, just become a member because
Do
there's
it.
so
a lot of
much
perks,
stuff.
a lot of free events,
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of stuff that you can just like. It's also nice to just be able to pop in on a whim and be like, oh yeah, I'm a member, I can go. So check it all out.
All right, we will see you tomorrow.
Awesome job, guys. Thank you
Thank you,
so
thank
much.
Huzzah.
Appreciate it. We're still on YouTube and Twitch.
We'll just reset and do some other.
Thank you guys. That was awesome, y'all.
Yeah, that was fun.
Where's that go, Sam?
Thursday 1 and 2.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.
Yes, thank
I hope so too.
You guys do.
Yeah, man.
Probably
It
just
should be
gonna
fun.
go buy Starfield now, so thanks for that.
It's a fun game. It can be a little boring for some people because it's a lot of nerdy.
I've heard it makes stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think I would get into
It's
it.
pretty nerdy, you know. Like if you don't want to shoot anybody and you just want to collect flowers and fly around working for scientists, you can totally do that.
It's a video game, isn't it?
Yeah, you can literally just fly around testing flora if you wanted to do that and making money doing it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Can I have like a 2-week
pie.
vacation?
Good to see you.
He needs
I know.
some personal time.
Most of these games, well, here, I'll old man you guys. Most of these games used to come out, and some of the guys in the chat room will know what I talk about. Most of these games, when the big ones would come out, they'd come out around like November, right? I guess this one's pretty close. But, like, I always waited for the games to come out November, December because I knew I was going to get off from the radio station. I'd have like 2 weeks off. And then I would just literally play nothing. It was like gaming season. All the Gears of War games, all the Halo games, all that stuff would come out at that time. It's just like now everything just gets released when it gets released.
There's so much of it now, you can't avoid
Right.
it.
It's too much. There's too much. Well, thank you guys again for being here, y'all.
Thank you
Definitely.
guys for giving us the shout out.
Anytime,
Appreciate it.
man. We'll
Just,
keep doing it too.
Yeah, just trying to get people to come out to the Eclipse because that'll be fun.
Right on.
And I think the Science Night Live Halloween one is always a good.
Yeah. I've got more of the details here, so when we do those ads, I can
Alright, well,
pepper in
thank you.
some of the things that are going on.
Do appreciate it.
You got it, man. You guys have a good one.
Thanks. Take care.
Hi, guys.
Tom, good seeing you.
Thursday.
It's a Saturday. Taking it easy.
Singing Eagles?
Anything but the fucking Eagles, man.
That was 1 and 2.
Yes. What do you want to do now?
We'll just do some voicemails.
Where do you want to put it?
We'll put it Monday 3.
You know what that means, right?
Is that what it means?
No, I don't think so.
Loosen my load.
Mm-hmm. $44 million. Okay. What are we doing here?
Monday 3. And we'll just do voicemail.
Okay.
Or
I got those.
email too, whatever you want.
I got those. People, I saw some people talking about the lights. How are the lights looking?
All of the lights.
It's not bothering me as much as yesterday. It was the
We'll get used to it.
contrast that got me.
You look blue. I look a little more red. Let's see if I can red you up a little bit.
I want to red you up. Making love until we drown.
You say drowned?
What?
Making love until we drown? Is that what he says?
Oh, I don't know.
A horrible thing. Don't do that.
I think mine looks better because I've got all white behind me, right? And then you guys have like more red, and
There.
because they do look different.
I gave Tom a little more red, so he's not quite as cool blue. Cool blue Tom.
Cool blue.
All right. This is almost done. Yeah, I think Sam to me looks the best. I'm more warm. Tom. Yeah, but I've redder tones to my skin, I think. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Number 3. You start, buddy.
Let me see what I'm going to promote here. Oh, okay, I got it.
All right, here we go. 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. The first Solar Bears game is coming up. When is it?
October 19th.
October 19th. I'm going to be out there. Sam's going to be out there, bringing her families out there. You can be out there, too, if you go to tomanddan.com and use the little link, little click through, look for Shades. Click on him and get yourself some tickets. We'd love to see you out there.
Yeah, and I forgot, like, I haven't been to the Amway since last Solar Bear. We went with Sam last night to see
The Lightning versus Panthers. Yep.
And the arena's super nice. Man.
It is. We are very lucky to have such
cool
a
place to
nice
see an event.
facility there. Yeah, TVs everywhere, great food. Did you get anything to eat, or you just chill out?
Just chill. I got some White Claw. I like that they sell the big White Claw cans.
Yeah, the chunky boys.
Yeah.
Are those 24s?
No, I
16.
think they're 16.
Yeah. You know what I noticed that I hadn't had one in a while, and it does make you feel powerful, is I went and somebody handed me a 24-ounce Coors Light, the big guy.
Yeah.
Like the ones that you get when you want one and done after a construction job. That's a powerful beer.
Yeah.
I felt more powerful just holding it. I was like, this is like a wizard staff. You know, like it felt like it had some like excess energy to it. I felt like when people saw me, they were like, look at that little guy with that ginormous beer. Look at that guy. Look at him go.
Let's do some voicemail.
All right. Voicemail messages. If you want to leave us one, it's the easiest thing to do, and it gives me an opportunity to talk about our brand new app. Our friend Matthew came through, kind of rehauled everything. It looks exactly the same, but you're going to find that it runs a lot smoother, has a lot more features, and just less of a pain in the butt. We've been trying to work on this app and make it great for you guys for a very, very long time. So just go to tomanddan.com, and you can find out how to get your app for both Android and iOS.
Or if you search A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan on any app store, it'll come up.
Yep, there you go, and it's totally free. I should say that.
Yeah.
Totally free. All of our stuff's on there, and if you sign up to be a BDM, that stuff's on there too. It's everything that we have is on that app.
Yeah. Then once you log in on the app, with your BDM email and password, then you're logged in as long as you're a BDM.
Yep, you can download the shows, you can save the shows, you can do whatever you want on the brand new Tom and Dan app. Here's our first voicemail.
Hey, Tom and Dan. Since Tom had that little mushroom pill the last 2 days of recording, Tom has been happier and a whole new person. Expand your mind.
I love
saying
the
the
music.
microdosing is working.
I love the music.
Oh,
I
speaking
wrote
of
him back and
that-
told him, if you're going to call, then you need to bring music every time. If you don't do that anymore, I'm not playing your
That
voicemail
music
messages.
reminds me. Have you guys seen? You might want to pull this up.
Okay.
I know it's not old YouTube Thursday or anything, but this is new. Have you guys seen the carnival game in Mexico where the nun is dancing in the middle of the ride?
No. What
So
is
are you
this?
familiar with the horror movie The Nun at all?
Maybe I've seen it.
It
Or
looks
seen
like
a
it's
picture.
like an old creepy monster lady dressed as a nun, right?
Okay.
So there's a lady in Mexico that dances in the center of one of these like gravitron spinny rides.
Okay.
I've
And now
got it.
people are flocking from all over South America to come see this lady dance, and it's awesome.
So it's a lady.
I want to go.
Is it what kind? Is it the Gravitron or is it the open?
It's
like,
an open one.
The Arctic. I
I don't know
There's
what
a
it's
bunch of
called,
them.
but yeah. And she breaks it down, and I love it. I can't
Okay.
get enough of this.
Let
I'm
me
gonna.
see.
Can I play the audio for this?
Yeah, I think
I'm
it's
gonna,
it's just music.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Take
It is
a,
in
I'm gonna
Spanish,
take a
so
chance
you know
here.
who knows
So,
what they're saying.
we go.
But let's go.
Okay, so they're spinning around a carnival ride, and then the lady in the middle.
Kind of go towards the middle of the video because it starts going faster.
Okay, she's telling everybody to like,
She's
you
like,
know.
we're about to do it.
Yeah.
Why does everybody?
And it's going
get
They
a
love
faster,
her.
and then
She's a sensation, bro.
okay, and then they're watching her, and they're spinning it faster, and it's getting faster.
She's shaking her nun tees.
And then she's getting ready to drop. Oh, there she goes.
Hey!
She get the booty going. And her costume, it looks very...
It's great.
It's both a mixture of, like, terrifying and it's a great costume.
I love it.
She's like a bigger girl just killing it.
This is my favorite thing on the internet.
So, why is everybody so excited about this? Because they...
It's just a novelty thing.
I'm glad you shared that with us,
Yeah.
Sam. I very much like that.
Yeah.
Because it's better than life, right? That's why people like that. They're like, well, this is better.
What's on my algorithm, guys.
They're like, this is better than my day job, right? This is better than going home to my family. This is better than my problems. The nun
it's
dancing.
just silly.
Yeah.
But will this cause other, like, I guess, people doing some sort of dancing?
It will, but we've already moved on.
I bet you couldn't
It'll be
do
dead
this.
it'll be dead in 2 days.
You couldn't do this in the United States because of insurance.
Not allowed on the ride like that.
Yeah. Like in Mexico, they're like, you could dance out there. Don't.
Yeah, whatever you want. I don't even know how she's able to do that.
Don't fall like down, or you will get spun. I mean,
yeah, like the devil's wheel. We were talking about that with Holobox. It'll shoot you off and blow your fake nun teeth off.
I think if you fell into the machinery,
dead.
'cause that thing is spinning
You're
so
dead.
fast and so heavy.
It's
that
just
it'll kill
hydraulic
you.
tubes and just crankshafts.
Yeah.
It'll just rip you limb to limb.
But in Mexico, they're like, get out there,
Anything goes.
start
Yeah.
doing some dancing. Anyway,
I didn't know up until maybe last year how many other parents of children. No, I'm not including myself in this. Sorry, I shouldn't have said other parents. I didn't know how many parents were deathly afraid of like fair rides. Like
I'm afraid of fair rides.
I know, but the vast majority of people that I know that are parents will never let their kid. Like, I'm fully okay with putting Maisie on a scrambler and just like, hey, because I did it.
yeah.
And that's why, because I did it, right? Like, so I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
see anything wrong with it. But I didn't know until I moved around this neighborhood and talked to other parents that, like, it's not even in their brain.
No.
Like, fairs,
Yeah,
not
they're
in their brain.
paranoid.
It's not something they would ever, they've never been there.
Yeah.
I've been to the Volusia County Fair more than 25 times.
It's
a
trashier
It is.
place.
But my point is that I
More
didn't
accidents
know.
happen there.
Oh, totally. But I didn't know that this was a thing. It didn't, like, I don't know if that just, I'm showing my bumpkinness, but I didn't know until, like, maybe last
rich
year.
people, they're terrified of poor
I knew tons of
fairs.
people growing up that wouldn't get on.
See,
They'd go
that's-
to the fair, but they wouldn't go on the ride.
Oh man, we went. All we did is ride. We ride every. I've ridden a
Yeah.
scrambler. I'm not kidding you. I have ridden a scrambler 100 times, 200 times. I couldn't even tell you how
Yeah.
many times I've ridden it. The one that starts bouncing and falls over, and then I remember
Yeah,
standing.
but that happened once or twice.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
I remember standing at a bus stop talking to, like, walking Maisie to school and talking to other
Yep.
parents last year, and I think the fair was in town. I remember saying something like, I mean, to your point of this non-dancing and how dangerous it is, I was like, oh yeah, like we should all go, like, to the group. I was like, oh, we should all go to the fair and just like go ride the rides, and everybody looked at me like I'd asked to take the kids to the woodshed or something, like they looked at me like I was insane.
The problem for me is there is two logic wizards shooting at each other, and it's okay.
and you say you hate fantasy.
And-
Yeah, I like that imagery though.
So-
it's easier for me to
It's
understand.
logic wizards, so
when,
it's okay.
When he uses wizards, I understand it.
So on one side of it, you have the statistics of people harmed on fair rides, which is incredibly small. Right? It just
Right.
doesn't happen. You see some videos of the thing bouncing and some stuff. A lot of them are
So
different
one of my
countries.
favorite videos, the one that's bouncing, and then the guy runs over, and they're
Right.
all trying to pull it down.
But
Rather than stopping the ride, just pull it down.
there's regulations in the United States with all these fair rides, and there's like inspections and all these protocol, blah blah blah, right? So, and the fact that not that many people are hurt a year, and there's a lot of fair rides, to me deems them safe.
Yeah,
right?
that's on one side.
Statistics, math,
Sure.
the logic of the math tells me fine, right? But then the logic of, on the other side, the people that don't want to ride the rides is look who is putting them
Yes,
together
100%.
and who's in charge of this
Yeah.
operation.
Look at some of the other
And
rides that are far more
that-
superior that people still get hurt on.
Well, not as, the numbers. No one gets hurt on rides. The numbers
Right.
are zero. But their logic of look who's putting them together. Look at the field you're in. Look at the ride itself,
Right.
and look at the
Do
operator's
the
teeth.
observation math.
Yeah.
Right.
Look at the operator
I'm
and
doing my own.
and tell me
Assessment.
if
Yeah.
you would put
I'm
him
picking up the clues.
in charge of safety with anything.
Right.
And then so that logic, that's where the wizards and the power comes and then hits.
Yeah.
And I understand
And in the
their-
center, giant question mark.
their argument is logically right, but the statistics back the fact that they're safe.
I mean, you're taking a chance.
Would you battle that a little
not
bit
really.
with Crystal at all?
No, because we're kind of trashy.
Yeah, see, I don't battle that with Andrea either.
Also, we're never afraid of like we're just looking at it. We're like, it's fine.
I don't have to battle
Have
that
your
with
kids been to a carnival? Either one of your kids?
They've been to carnival rides and like temporary or like kind of semi-permanent carnivals. I mean,
Colorado. We did the one at the top of the mountain.
Fun Spot is kind of a permanent carnival.
That's a permanent theme park.
Yeah, but they have carnival rides.
Right. They still have to buy them, the rides.
Yeah.
Right.
It's carnival rides permanent. You know, like they're
it's like a food truck park. You know, it's like there's still food
They're
trucks.
not putting them up and taking them down every day, though.
Right. And they got a maintenance team, so that I would say that's elevated.
Yeah, I would.
But what
count
you're
that.
talking about, like, I don't have to fight it either. And I remember taking Maisie when she was really little. We rode some crazy stuff.
Look at how many people. Okay, the Central Florida Fair, we just found out has been going on for 112 years, which. By the way, I can't even comprehend that they've been doing the fair in the same place in a place in the United States for 112 years. It's crazy to me.
It's probably not an old one either.
You know
what I mean? Like there's probably others that are like, we've been doing this for 315 years.
But anyway, if we look up the stats, how many people were hurt on rides at the Central Florida Fair in the past 112 years, it's going to be astronomically small.
Right.
And that tells me that, that something's got to be done right, like they are able to keep people safe, even though the people that are putting this together, it's insane that they let these people put these things together. It's good. Like, I don't want to yell out carnies, but you get the drift.
Yeah, it's fine. I think you're okay saying that. I feel like you're okay saying carny. I don't think they're going to call in and get mad. Like, you can't use that term anymore.
But they have to be doing it correctly. Not that many people are hurt.
Well, there's also another
If they
counter
were, it would've been
angle to
shut
that,
down.
that these guys are so they know how to do it tried and true. They can do it with their eyes shut.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like,
And
but that doesn't help some people either. I get it.
But also, and then I make the joke all the time about, like, everybody's like, yeah, they're on meth. I want them to be on meth. Like, I'm
More
on.
attentive, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like,
they're awake.
I guess what Adderall is? It's amphetamine salts.
Yeah.
Like, it is methamphetamine, or I guess amphetamine. Anyway, I pay attention a lot more when I'm on Adderall than I'm not.
There you go.
And so
There's
anyway.
the proof. Speaking of rides, here's one that ties right in.
Hello, Tom and Dan and Sam. So I saw on my local news about the lady at Humunga Cowabunga, which is an amazing name. I'm unaware of it. I don't go to water parks, so I'm not a baby, and I don't make babies. So a lady at Humunga Cowabunga
I think it's humunga, right? Like humongous?
I would think so.
got an extreme wedgie, and it caused internal bleeding, and now she's trying to sue the mouse
Internal
for $50K.
bleeding.
That's what she said.
I want to see the
Humunga
documents.
Cowabunga.
I don't know where. Is that Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon where Humunga Cowabunga is at?
I would
Is
assume
Blizzard?
Typhoon.
Typhoon? So this lady, I guess, was going down the Humunga Cowabunga, and this is, I think it was years ago, and then she said that she got an extreme wedgie, and then it caused internal bleeding, and now she is suing Mickey Mouse for, I think, like $50K or something. Like she's trying to get some money
Yeah.
for the Humunga Cowabunga.
Yeah, that's it seems like the standard.
We've all gotten a wedgie on
Yeah.
Humunga Cowabunga.
Yeah,
We've all been on Durstuka here.
Yeah.
Back when Wet and Wild
No,
was
the one where the floor drops.
Yeah, that's not your
No,
thing.
no.
Yeah, that's not your thing.
No.
But you and I've been on it, right?
I've
Yeah,
gone
yeah.
down the straight shoots down.
Oh, then
but
you've done it?
But not the one where the floor drops.
But
Okay,
you've still
yeah.
done it. It's the
Yeah,
same
same
thing.
thing,
It's
yeah.
similar.
It's
yeah.
really the one where the floor drops is a little bit scarier just because they try to screw with you. They're
Yeah, I
like,
don't
all
like
right, we're
that.
gonna do it on 3, 1, 2, and then they just they do it on 2 and
Now it's
It said it forced her one-piece bathing suit inside of her body.
okay.
I've seen
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen that on the videos where they pull it up.
yeah.
She experienced.
like that.
She experienced immediate and severe pain internally, and as she stood up, blood began rushing from her
no.
legs.
Okay, hold
Oh.
on. That's not good.
Yeah, I mean, it could have just been
Yeah.
an anomaly. Like the perfect set of factors happened,
Yeah.
and then she had an extreme wedgie that actually did cause internal
When are
bleeding.
they saying this happened?
You know-
Because if it 2019.
Yeah, it was
And they still
2019.
have it open. I highly doubt she's gonna win this. unfortunately for her.
Why would you wait?
Well, there are anomalies, and we
Yeah, but why wait is what I would say. If you
With
go
what?
down, like,
If you had an injury where you had to
Yeah.
go to the doctor and get medical care and it was
My point
bleeding when
is-
you stood up,
I never say that. You know, when you have women that come forward, there's some sexual
it could
crime,
be
and
that
it's like,
she
why
did,
did
it
women?
could be that she filed and it's just now getting
Yes,
to court.
I bet, yeah. I mean,
But
they
what I'm
push that
saying
on.
is, if this was the case, trust me, Disney would have shut that slide down.
if there was a danger, yeah. But there can be also.
If it caused
that-
internal
Well,
bleeding
you
to a
could-
woman,
you could be very delicate. You could have something else going on, and this could just
But it could also.
exacerbate what's happening to you.
I'm sure your body type. I'm sure the type of bathing suit it is. Like, there's so many other
There's
factors.
a chainmail bathing suit.
And then it's like, all right, 1 out of 10 million people that went down this or whatever will get internal bleeding, and they're willing to. I mean, either that or the
Right,
shut down.
right,
You know,
right.
like Damar Hamlin died on the field,
Yeah, I see what
and
you're saying.
and they said, and like this could technically happen to anybody. It just was a crazy anomaly. Got hit at the perfect time in the perfect place, and
also she might.
stopped his heart.
I would venture to guess that she probably did not ride it correctly because you're supposed to cross your legs when you go down.
Is that to stop it from going directly
Yeah.
into your body?
Yeah.
yeah, that closes it up.
I mean, you're still gonna get a wedgie, but it's not gonna split you in half like the Terrifier.
Okay, well then answer me this hot shot. Why, when they're taking my blood pressure at the Quest, do they tell me to uncross my leg?
That's so you don't pass out.
I'm gonna be extra stupid. Is it so I don't pass out from blood pressure?
Oh, it says that she did go down with her legs crossed as directed, but then she became airborne towards the end before slamming back down, which increased the likelihood of her legs becoming uncrossed.
Oh, so
I
she
don't believe
became
it.
airborne, and then they went legs akimbo.
But it's going to be. I'm sure they'll settle, but it's going to be difficult to prove that Disney was negligent
Right.
when they have evidence of how many people have ridden that?
I mean, they're also the top
100,000 people.
more than that. They're also a top tier water park where I've never seen more lifeguards than at the Disney
Yeah.
water parks. I mean, literally, it's annoying.
That's why they shut down the other
Yeah,
ones. So
it's
that they have
annoying.
more than enough at
Like
one.
you can't even swim in an area without you can't. It's impossible to fool around. You can't splash your dog. It's just you can't do it. They try to do it right. So yeah, I think she's gonna have a hard battle
Yeah.
to try and win this. It's also an embarrassing thing to bring up. So I feel for her if it actually did happen and then this made the news and you didn't want that. Because is there a possibility that happened? Where she just wanted to settle it. She did need the money, and then it just made the news, and everybody's going to call her a water slide beehole lady.
Well, yeah, you can't.
And then that, right? And then
Yeah.
and then it follows you around for life, and you're like, oh my God, I should have never done this. This is why
Well,
I
maybe
should have come
maybe
forward.
that's also why it's going to court, right? Maybe she tried to get a settlement, and they're like, no, we're not
Yeah.
liable for this.
Well,
Take you to court.
That's how the whole corporate structure. It's
Sure.
with the lawyers. It's like
We'll
you
make
can't-
you do it.
They're not going. Guest services is not going to just be like, just bring us your hospital bills and your doctor bill.
Sometimes Disney does that.
Well, I guess especially if they make you
Yeah,
sign
if they
like
know.
you're not
And
gonna
also,
sue
they
us
don't want
later.
that in the news either.
Right.
If
Yeah.
they really thought that this was a danger.
But once you get an attorney, then it just starts a process.
Sure.
That it's and that's the
Yeah,
process.
yeah. If you
Yeah,
did get
that-
the attorney first, sometimes they're like, I'm sorry, it wouldn't matter what. We can't do anything now.
Yeah, but then also attorneys tell you, and it's true. Mo tells us all the time, don't settle because who knows?
Right.
You sign something and you get 20,000, and then you have complications down the road you didn't even foresee, and you
Right.
can't go back because you already signed.
Yeah.
Like once it's
Sorry,
settled,
you set it in motion, man.
Yeah. So
it's like dominoes.
It's complicated,
Yeah, it is.
Like I bet there's she's maybe right, and then Disney may be right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Somewhere in the middle. Remember when we were talking about Bluetooth devices and you were sort of perplexed at how late model automobiles don't have Bluetooth? Is that even a thing?
All right, I'm going to do what Tom said. I use Burn Pest Control for my home,
Nice.
a rental, and at my office, and they're awesome. And Joe actually did the office, and he was awesome, and it's been great, and you guys should use them.
There you
I was
go.
listening to the show about the Bluetooth in cars, and recently my wife and I were on vacation, and we rented a late model. It was a Camaro convertible, and it didn't have Bluetooth. It didn't even have an auxiliary port. It just had like the cigarette lighter for you to charge if you had that kind of charger. So I guess they do still make late model cars without it. It's probably, I used to think it was standard, but I guess you probably have to have if you have the nav package or the entertainment package or whatever for a car, because this car didn't have any of that. It was just the base model.
Yeah, but it's I mean,
So, yeah,
I hate to
it's
bring this
still-
to your attention, but I believe I'm right on this. I think that automobile manufacturers have deals with rent-a-car companies where they can offer certain models to the rent-a-car companies that are pared down. Like it's specific for rental. Like,
yeah,
like
you
I'm not
can't even
giving you
buy-
Bluetooth. I'm not giving you CarPlay. You don't need that. You're getting the bare bones is less to break. So I bet you the reason this Camaro was just convertible, it's probably look good on the outside, decent interior, but the bare bones as far as like ice cold air and just a radio.
Okay.
Because it saves them money, right?
So follow me with this. Could it be?
Maybe.
He's
Maybe.
switching it up instead of follow me here now. It's follow me with
I
this.
think follow me with this. I'm a fan of follow me with this.
Because I realized
You know what I
needed-
envision you when you say follow me with this? You're holding a torch, and you're like, follow me with this.
I needed to change it because here implies that I'm going somewhere.
Yeah, okay, all right, yeah,
And then,
yeah.
usually you follow me and then you're like, where
Why not
are
be
we? I'm
direct?
like, I don't
I'm
even know.
always like,
I'm
where
lost.
are we?
Why not be direct and say follow me in circles? And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Then it's
I
a
followed
dance.
you here and we're lost. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, it's your fault.
Yeah, and I said I'd follow you to hell. Where are we? We're in hell.
Could it be a liability thing that the rental car companies don't want people
Distracted.
distracted
Yeah.
with their Bluetooth and their phone, and then the insurance
I think you're
company?
right because they make you fill out more forms when you get a GPS. Remember in Colorado, they
Yeah,
were
yeah.
like, you have to fill out all these forms to get a GPS, and I'm like,
So-
I don't need a GPS.
Because it logically they everything has Bluetooth. It doesn't even cost, like, electronics come with Bluetooth. It doesn't cost more nowadays to put Bluetooth in a CD player. It is like it probably costs
Put
more to put.
Bluetooth in a CD player.
Well, what I'm saying, in
I
any
cannot
electronics.
follow you
know
there.
what what
Well,
he's saying
everything
is
Bluetooth is
everything-
not that
Bluetooth
expensive.
is so readily available that Bluetooth, for the most part, is in everything. So he's saying it's not for the manufacturer. It's not going to break the bank for them to add Bluetooth to it. So if they could, they would.
They do it standard.
Right.
I think it's probably more rare to have like any sort of stereo system in a
you
car
can
with no
buy-
Bluetooth.
You can buy a Bluetooth speaker on Alibaba for $1. That's
Yeah,
how cheap
yeah,
it
yeah.
is. So Bluetooth modules are not expensive.
Find a like I learned this when I was looking for
Shouldn't have said CD player. They're really getting you in the chat room.
like 5 years ago. I was looking like find a car CD player, right, that goes in your dash without Bluetooth in 2023.
I don't think you can.
Like it's hard. It would be harder to
Yeah.
find than with it.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. But when I was buying a boat stereo a while back, I was like, oh, like I wanted to have Bluetooth because I don't have CD is stupid. In fact, I don't even need a CD.
Streaming.
But every single stereo didn't even come with an option without Bluetooth because
Yeah.
it's just standard in everything.
I don't even know if you could get a CD player now.
It would be harder.
It would be
Yeah,
harder.
yeah. So I think it makes more sense to me, and I'm just talking it out, that the rental car companies specifically order vehicles with no Bluetooth because of insurance liability reasons.
Chat room
doesn't make sense
is
to me, but-
offering up though, like, well, if you had Bluetooth, you could take hands-free calls. Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I see that, but,
but they're
How is
messing.
it any more distracting than a radio?
well, you
Oh.
you spend more time on it. Like if you're putting in your the screen, I think.
linking it. I can't even figure out how to
Well, you're
link.
supposed to do that before you start driving.
Yeah, correct. But people don't. Like in
Yeah.
the 4Runner that I got in Colorado, it had exactly what you're saying. It had just a radio that was Bluetooth, but it did not give us the option to do CarPlay. It didn't give it, like, we were very limited on our options for what it gave us. It was a nice vehicle.
Also, I bet they are trying to limit people calling the front desk. Telling
We have
them,
a car, sponsor. We should ask them.
yeah,
Like
but
what
I
comes
don't
standard.
think. But see, the chat room is saying that a lot of their rental cars have CarPlay. I don't know if we're on the right track with the insurance thing.
well, why would they make a late when they're saying when did they say late model? Where you're talking about like 2018, 19, and they're saying
Yeah,
it comes
I'd
without
say 15
Camaro
forward,
or
yeah.
it was a Camaro Mustang or
It was
something.
a Camaro,
Okay,
convertible Camaro.
Yeah, you would think like why would they make that car in 2018 without Bluetooth? That doesn't
can't
make
give you an answer on
It's
that.
not more expensive. It's
I
not
would
like
just say-
I
oh,
mean, it has to be more expensive. Even if
can't
it's a
be.
little bit of, it has to be.
I don't
It
think
is an
it is.
extra feature. It has to be more expensive.
Well, based on what she's saying, yes, if you bought them in bulk and you bought a group of, let's say you bought 80 yellow Camaro convertibles
Yeah,
without Bluetooth and 80 yellow Camaro, and you're going to put them all around North America,
Yeah.
it would be, I mean, maybe you could save I don't know, X amount of dollars. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of cars you're buying for Hertz, maybe you're right, Sam. Maybe it's just purely a saving money because they do a lot of dumb things, right? It is a dumb thing to do.
Well, I can't even imagine in 2018, we're talking about like not that long ago when everything had Bluetooth, that it would be more expensive to add Bluetooth to the car stereo. When every stereo made comes automatically with Bluetooth.
General Motors has a deal with the American-owned rental companies. They're going to have modules, stereos left over that are bare bones, right? That don't have Bluetooth. They're going to have them.
They're older.
Because they're older. So they put them in there and then give them a great deal on the Camaro convertibles because they have less tech. And then that's the deal. And that way they're able to take maybe the NOS parts, new old stock, put them in the car. I don't know. I'm trying to solve this problem, but I think we're onto something here that's weird because you're both right.
Yeah. No, Sam's right too. I think it could be a cost thing. To me,
it sounds very big.
Like, what is
company,
even
though,
Bluetooth?
How much
We're
do we
two
save?
logic wizards.
You guys are doing it.
Because I understand.
Don't say that. You're not allowed to say that.
I understand saving money, but to me though,
JC would know. Do you think JC Harrelson would know?
He'll know what they have in stock, right?
Well, he knows every.
Okay, he
mean,
could.
by this time,
I'm going to do a poll.
Every car in 2023 has Bluetooth in it. That is made new.
That's brand new.
That is brand new.
I'm gonna agree with you.
I don't think there's even an option.
I'm just going to agree with you because it doesn't make sense to not do it. I do agree with that.
It's not some new.
Like you buy a bare bone Chevy Spark, that tiny little car. I think we have our friend Diggs Retro has one of those. If you bought that brand new 2023
Honda.
from JC, the low model, I'm talking just AC, nothing, not climate controlled. Just powered.
The bare stock,
just powered windows. And I think when you get your stereo, no CD, but I do think it's going to have the option for free satellite radio because they always have that. And then it's going to have the Bluetooth option.
That's what I would believe.
That's what I think it's going to have. And that's your bare bones Chevy Spark.
And I don't bet that there's one with Bluetooth or no Bluetooth.
I don't think I can go to JC Harrelson right now and say, can I buy a Chevy Spark without Bluetooth? I think he's going to say you'd have to special order that.
Yeah, and I don't even know if they have.
They may not even offer.
Yeah, that's an aftermarket. You'd have to take the stereo out.
According
and put
to
it
Google, 87% of all new vehicles currently come standard with Bluetooth technology, and by 2024, 2/3 of all cars on the road will include it.
87?
So not all of them. Yeah.
87 is low.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot.
No, I want them all because but I kind of go back to what you're saying.
They're always going to have like a bare bones version of a car. They'll
For
like
commercial.
even roll down
for
windows
commercial.
and everything.
Commercial trucks are very popular. In fact, most of the trucks out there are like roll down windows commercial trucks.
I just didn't believe that they created a stereo in an automobile that doesn't even have Bluetooth. Because I'm thinking that every stereo created, it just comes.
When do we get better than Bluetooth?
What? How we do that?
When do we get green tooth, red tooth? Like
audio in our brains?
When do we get... No, because Bluetooth, sometimes I have some issues with Bluetooth, especially older Bluetooth. Older Bluetooth is
Connection
finicky.
issues.
Yeah. Older. I got an old Bose speaker that we're using for my pumpkins display.
Yeah.
That thing.
It's
Bluetooth,
always going to be not perfect because it's not hardwired.
You know what
right?
I've noticed about old Bluetooth is old Bluetooth. Once it's connected to something, it's like I'm staying connected to this, and I'm not disconnecting, and I'm not connecting to anything else. I'm just connecting to what I originally connected to.
You know what?
Bluetooth.
Speaking of technology blowing our minds, I had to set up my digital antenna to watch local football games.
Got one right here.
All right.
Got one right here.
And then I'm
I wish
watching.
all the bars I went to go see the Bucks game had that.
Do you know how much this costs? $7 at CVS. You know what you have to do to make it work? You just plug it in. That's it. It's the easiest thing in the world.
There's certain rules with bars about. I know, like, you can't just buy the cheap NFL package, but I don't know if with an antenna you think it's,
No, they make you register.
Yeah.
With the bars, they
and
make
how
you
much
fill
your
out a whole
capacity? You got to
form.
pay way more.
You have to talk about the
thousands.
You have to talk about the square footage of your bar, I think.
And how many people are watching. But anyway, I'm watching a football game with a digital antenna, and it blows my mind that I'm getting this for free, and it's out there. I mean, and then it's not. It's not an app that
It always used to be that way.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But,
Really
but
wanna blow your
now
mind.
it's changed so much that I'm like, I can't believe
This
is
is
just,
free.
It's out there, and I'm picking it up.
You know what I did, and it blew my mind even more because it's one more step. plug it in, plug in a TV, right? Plug in your digital antenna, and then plug it into like a Jackery power box so you're off the grid, but you're still
Okay, so
getting
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah.
I did it in my garage, and I was like, oh my God. I'm a prepper. I'm a mountain man now. I'm off the grid. Nobody knows I'm watching this game. Nobody can know I'm watching this game. I'm using a Jackery battery power, my tiny TV. Remember my little 12-incher I bought?
Yeah.
For like $800 because tiny TVs are so expensive.
Yeah.
And then I bought, dude, that's all you need. You could be running that in your car, driving around while watching. You could be watching a 20-inch TV in your passenger seat if you wanted to.
Let's do one more voicemail.
All right, one more voicemail. Let's try. We did the Bluetooth one.
Oh, by the way, going back to the mushrooms.
Uh-oh, back to the mushrooms.
Man, we're going back there? Okay.
I'm the same as I was before. You have to mega dose to be kind of different. You can't just take a tiny little.
It's not going to last for days.
A
yeah.
0.5 milligram.
You need to take a
big
old Super Mario dose.
They say the mega dose will last for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but you didn't take that, is what I'm saying.
No.
They were saying 2 days later you were still happy and fun.
I
Let's bring a Bluetooth.
I
Okay,
do think you had fun, and I think anytime any of us here has fun, we come in,
But
happy.
I drank too much alcohol to even feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like and that I need you need to microdose with nothing else.
Yeah.
You know.
Probably better
it could be
doing
fun.
Yeah.
Got it on the cruises.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
But
I
no,
think
that's
if you
really
want the real medicinal properties, you should probably take it seriously. Let's try this one right here.
Hey everybody, this is Summer. I was just calling in real quick because you were talking on ACT about kids watching older movies and not being scared, or maybe not being as scared as a newer film. You know what Mike does for a living, and my kids have been around like horror their whole entire lives, and just recently Paige has decided that she wants to watch like more horror films. Now, we recently watched the 2016 remake of Blair Witch, and if you haven't seen that, I highly suggest you watch it. It is very scary. It's very scary. She was really scared by that one. Okay, so that was 2016.
Oh, yeah, that one was good.
So then just recently we showed her the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and her face at the very end when the like mom gets pulled through the little tiny window on the door, she looked at us like, what in the hell did I literally just watch? And Mike was like, did you like it? And she goes, it's okay. So she also watched the original Child's Play and thought it was ridiculous. And the only thing she liked was the scene where Chucky was in the elevator and the old lady goes, ew, that's an ugly doll. And Chucky goes, F you, lady. She thought that was great. Other than that, though, older movies don't really hold up for the kids now.
There you go.
Okay, bye.
Was Child's Play really supposed to be that scary? I found that more of like a comedy.
And so was Nightmare on Elm Street. It like
Yeah.
It
Agreed.
scared
Freddy
me,
was-
man. But I was watching all of these
Way too
things
young.
when I should not have been watching them.
Nightmare on Elm Street only scary because then you were afraid to fall asleep because you're like, well, what if?
Can you research something for me?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
having a core memory coming back to me. Is there a scene in one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies where Freddy pretends to be a sexy nurse with big boobies?
I think that was a porno you watched.
No. I believe that Freddy,
in like a dream.
in a dream sequence, he pretends to be a sexy nurse with big knockers.
Well, Google search Freddy Krueger big knockers.
Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm glad that my coworker tells me to use our company computers.
It looks like it was Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Okay.
Okay.
It is Freddy Krueger big knockers?
Hold on, I'm waiting for this damn ad to get out of here. It says the Krueger nurse, the Dream Master, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, the Dream Master. Okay, this is him as a nurse.
Is she blonde?
No. Got a brown wig on, big glasses.
No, in this, whatever I'm thinking of, it was Freddy Krueger, and he...
Well, that's got to be you're thinking it's blonde, but you kind of got the details.
But then she pulls him out.
Oh, you're exposing
Yeah,
them?
and
No, that's not this
well,
scene.
in one of
Are they
your
all
s-
burned up?
No,
Oh,
they're
God.
great.
Okay.
No, they're not burned. They're smooth.
Oh, that
Okay.
part didn't get burned. Okay.
And then I think that And then I think like the guy, or was there a time when a girl's expose her big knockers? It's got big knockers. Guaranteed the memory has big knockers. in it,
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that
And
made
then,
you a man.
And then like a long, it did. It's a core memory. And then like they were like he stuck his tongue out, or their tongues were fighting.
EJ, you say, or you remember this? Can you like let us know what this is?
Yeah,
'Cause I
like
can't
there's
find
something where have any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies had big knockers? And let's start there. Let's
Okay.
start there. Let's really dig into this. Have any of type in any Nightmare on Elm Street because was there any nudity in those?
I'm sure there was.
It was rated R. I don't think there was nudity though.
I remember something. Like anyway, it stuck in my brain.
Is
as
it
being,
rated R? Yeah.
It stuck in my brain as being terrifying because it like took my favorite thing, which is big knockers, and then it smashed it into like somebody getting murdered, which emotionally like it messed me up. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It really got me good.
Those big knockers made you crazy.
They made me crazy.
But the Nightmare on Elm Street series was campy, right? Like it was,
Yeah, there was some camp
I
to
mean,
it.
he had like punchlines
Yeah.
and funny things to say.
He made jokes.
But it was
yeah.
still scary to me,
Yeah.
like I thought it was. Like
But it was over the top, kind of like Hobo with a Shotgun, like gory and horror, but mixed with comedy and over
not
the
really
top camp.
comedy, just like the campiness of it. Like I think the first one, not that.
It's like B movie too. Though.
I think
It's
they
like,
got progressively campier, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Like I think like
There
Freddy.
was a scene with like Kelly Rowland in one of the later ones where she calls Freddy Krueger the F word for gays because of his sweater. That scene they tried to delete that scene.
Oh wait, can we
let's
play
play
that?
it on here.
Yeah, let's play that. Jack, we're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
play
Oh,
the
yeah, okay.
infamous
Yeah.
F word for.
Listen, I'm not saying
Is
it.
it the
Freddy's
F word
saying
for
it.
Freddy?
No.
Okay, find or Google search that, and we'll listen to that. I'll put on.
We'll have Kelly Rowland take us to break.
This is like the old Quantum Leap. Why didn't that spread? And the Quantum Leap R word, he's like, I'm an R word, and that spread through the internet. I haven't seen any memes with Freddy saying the
Oh
F
wow!
word.
If you type that in, man, it comes right to it.
Oh,
yeah.
The internet
okay, Here
knows.
we go.
Freddy versus Jason, I believe it
Okay.
was.
Yeah, it's Freddy versus Jason.
We'll probably we'll beep it out.
Yeah, we'll beep it out, but we owe you this.
Tell me something. What kind of faggot runs around in a Christmas sweater?
All right, there it is.
Yeah. There it is.
There it is. Okay.
Kelly Rowland.
When,
I mean, she has a point.
when you're writing that as the writer of this,
Yeah.
do you think like
It's like 2012, right? When he like,
Well, when-
it wasn't
when
that
was that
long
movie
ago.
made?
I think.
I don't know. I have to look.
Like, was it
I'm
the
writing
90s?
down the time here.
Was it the 90s? Because I
I
would.
did not know that
Yeah.
existed. I had no idea.
Because when you
2003.
think, oh, 2003.
All right,
After
2003.
9/11.
It was after 9/11.
You would think that's when I started radio. Like even when I started radio, I had an idea.
Yeah.
Like that word may not be as popular in 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
if you're
I'm like,
fighting, if you're fighting the Overlord of Dreams,
yeah.
Right?
And then I remember the culture. I was like, well,
Like, I would-
Obama's
I
going
would
to make gay
argue-
marriage
hold on,
legal. Like
would
I see
argue-
where it's going.
Yeah, but I would argue that if I'm in a cemetery fighting Freddy, I might yell the N-word at him. Like I may do whatever it takes, right?
Oh yeah. But I guess you're
Remember it's 03. It's 03. I'll
well,
yell
you're-
anything at him.
You're using,
And it is like in gay culture, they love this movie and this scene. They think it's hilarious.
Oh, I bet they think
Yeah.
it's the best thing in
Yeah.
the world.
They're not offended by it.
Right. Of course. Well, not easily
But it's also
offended.
Kelly Rowland. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
But also you're using the word in the worst part as an insult,
Yes.
which is what we're trying to evolve out of, especially back then.
What
It
did
was
Freddie
like,
say to that? It didn't go as
I've
far.
never
as the
watched
clip.
the
he got
movie.
mad and
Yeah.
went to kill him.
Yeah.
What'd
you say about my sweater, bitch?
It was the worst insult he's ever heard. He was immediately.
I can't believe you said that.
That's why Beyonce cut you out.
You know, my brother was gay. That's not cool, though.
Also, as that actor,
Oh, I made myself
what actress
lightheaded.
was it again?
Kelly Rowland.
Oh, Kelly Rowland is a singer, but for
Oh,
some
okay.
reason they threw her in this movie. I don't know why.
If you're Kelly
she was in
Rowland-
Destiny's Child.
When you're at home reading this script, right, and you get to that part, you're like,
Yeah.
"Whoa!"
I
You're like,
think it,
At the time,
yeah.
dude, I'm telling
Because you
2003.
get a
They were
standing.
throwing that word around all the time.
Yeah, you get the scene,
You're
right?
right.
It's
Like,
Yeah.
basically the 90s.
yeah, it's like if you're a
It's
little
funny
kid.
because I
if-
think of 2003
like
a little bit.
if you're a
different.
little kid in Jerry Maguire and you
But
get to
you're
do
right.
the middle finger to somebody, you're like, yes, I get the middle you get the.
Now that I think about the radio stuff that was going on.
Yeah, in 2003.
It was like
I was in like 11th grade.
They're like bringing these people in, pick this cotton.
Oh,
yeah.
Lots of things going on. Lots of things happening.
Yeah, 2003. It doesn't seem like it's that long ago, but I guess it was.
Let's finish
20
one
years
more.
ago.
Let's
God damn it.
finish with one more. Let's go with this one. Right
So, Speedy and Dan, you're saying that we can go jet skiing with Tom then? Because, I'm down.
What?
Thank you. Speedy and for life.
You're not down. You're playing
What's that
video
clicking in the
games. I can hear you
background?
playing video games, sir.
What is he talking about?
I have no idea.
Apparently, we
Jessica?
said something about like you made a bet where you could go like if people won, they could go jet skiing with Tom. Where are we at with the DeMar Hamlin bet?
Oh yeah,
I
I think
lost
you
it.
owe.
Yeah,
Randy
Shart
some
and
money.
Randy.
Yeah,
You owe
yeah.
Shart and Randy some money.
He doesn't send me.
Or he has to
where's
come
the-
here and you guys have to go to the bathroom and
What's
do
the
deal.
audio? What did I bet? We can't figure it out.
Nobody knows.
Well, it's all of our shows.
Well, you told me to erase the tape.
Yeah, he did.
And I erased
No,
the
no,
tape.
no, they're
A la
all-
GDC Road style.
Listen,
at Till.
We are contributing to the great digital garbage epidemic.
We're
of
the
future.
Digital Garbage Factory. Write that down for the new name of the show.
Garbage
Digital
Wife.
Garbage Factory should have been our production company.
We have 10,000 hours plus of audio on the internet.
10,000, dude. That's nothing.
Yeah, that is just sitting there. No one's ever
Do
going
you
to
know how
listen
many
to.
hours of broadcasting we did last week? It tells me. Do you know how many hours we did last week?
Well, how many?
41 hours of broadcasting last week.
Nobody wants that.
41 hours of broadcasting last week.
Too much.
No, that's more than a full-time
'Cause-
job.
'cause
that
the-
extra hour is overtime.
Yeah, Twitch tells me. Twitch will tell me.
Also, think about all the recording we did on go-to shows that we didn't even do on Twitch.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I know.
Yeah.
Too much get to work.
And you guys don't even hear the shows that I do here just talking S about you guys alone when I'm by myself. I'm like, they're not here. All right, welcome to Dan Show.
I was thinking about doing a show the other because I got the mic, the COVID mic in the
Yeah,
box
yeah.
you gave me.
Go ahead and set it up.
Never
Let's see.
used it once.
Yeah, no, we used it one time, and then I was like, "Well, I can do my own show." And then I was like, "Oh man," I was like, "Where would I even?" I was like,
You do it out in your shed. Set it up in your shed.
Shedcast.
Yeah, you could be like you could be Castleberry Mark Maron.
And then
Oh God.
You have Obama over there sitting in your shed.
I was like, I can't talk to only myself. I don't have that ability. I can only do it
I
in
feel
my
like
head.
you do that most of the time.
You should start that called Only Myself.
Yeah, but I need someone to listen. It's
I'll
like,
listen to you.
It's like I can't.
and argue with you.
Am I allowed to say anything, or do I just have to listen to it?
Like I can't get naked and dance around without someone watching me. You know what I'm saying? I would feel like,
That's
what's
an
the point?
analogy I didn't expect.
What's the point of me doing
he's
this
like, yeah, it's
for
like-
myself?
It's like a more perverted if a tree falls in the woods.
Or dance like no one's watching. Tom can't do it.
He's
He
such a
has
pervert.
to
He
dance like
can't-
people are watching.
Yeah, but what's the point? Am I
Dance as
doing
if
it for
you're-
myself?
Yeah, you
or
have to
what?
dance as if you're naked and people are watching.
Like either I'm doing it for entertainment or nothing. I can't do it for myself. It doesn't make me feel any better. Stupid.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Nice. Where's that go?
Monday 3 and 4.
Do we have anything there?
Nope.
No, that's it. All right.
Nice job. Those are funny. Monday. What's the date on that?
The 9th.
Thank you.
You want to do an intro for Thursday? Are we recording any more today?
Nope, that's it.
Was that 1 and 2 or 3 and 4?
3 and 4.
Thanks. Sorry. Okay. All right, guys. Well, we're going to lunch. We'll see you later.